Welcome back to the channel, folks, where today we'll be looking at the timeless botanical designs and patterns of the acclaimed interior designer William Morris. Welcome to the channel, folks, on the 7th of November 2025, where the autumnal season has curtailed the filming of our wildflowers in the field. Nonetheless, we're in for a visual treat of floral abundance and natural history, where today we look at the work of the Victorian polymath and interior designer William Morris, who lived between the period of 1834 and 1896. In today's episode, we will be looking at the timeless designs of William Morris, whether you be renovating a period Victorian house or simply decorating the front room of your council house. In today's episode, we will be looking at the creative mindset and influences which enabled William Morris to continue his creative designs throughout his lifetime. In the second part of the video, we'll also be doing a quick scroll through of the media patterns and designs that William Morris produced, commencing with his woodblock paper wallpapers such as the Strawberry Thief, and also his fabrics, whether printed, embroidered or woven. And we'll also have a quick look of the extension of wallpapers in some of the books that he illustrated, as well as his ceramics and glass. So join me today for a concise insight into the work of William Morris. So join me today with Lloyd, who is very fond of a piece of cheese and a nice cup of tea, whilst we look at some of William Morris's interior designs. And the focus should not be on Lloyd, it should be on the William Morris teapot, which is part of the contemporary design known as the Strawberry Thief, as you can see from the teapot. Let's get started and look at the life and background of William Morris and the mindset which drove his work throughout the decades of production in a range of media. Morris was a leading Victorian artist, painter, poet and craftsman, truly a polymath in every sense of the word. His timeless interior designs inspired textiles, carpets, linoleum, glass, paintings, furniture and art. He is described as the founder of the arts and craft movement, with the most significant art movement in Britain from 1880 to 1918. Morris came from an upper affluent middle-class family, and he was educated at Marlborough College, matriculating to study theology at Exeter College in Oxford. Morris did not take holy orders, as his beliefs and philosophies made him unsuitable. Morris had two daughters by his wife Jane, known as Jenny and May, and together with Jane Burden's sister, Bessie Burden, these women helped Morris run his embroidery business. Morris had a meticulous work ethic, as per his family motto, "Si je puis," meaning if I can, and by that he practiced all skills or processes and kept detailed notes in his diary on a daily basis so that he could explain and understand all of the processes in his factories. Morris was also greatly influenced by the Gothic period. He was a follower of John Ruskin and Alfred Lord Tennyson, and whilst at university he befriended the Icelandic theologian Eiríkur Magnusson. Together they produced prose and translations of the Eddas and Sagas of Old Norse. Morris also published many medieval manuscripts, such as the Tales of King Arthur and poetry and works of Chaucer. Morris's ability to tell stories, illustrate and advocate his skill of calligraphy led him to found the Kelmscott Press in 1891, where he published medieval text, mythologies and Gothic specialist illustration. Morris invented 3 distinctive typefaces: Golden, Troy and Chaucer, with the text being framed with intricate floral borders similar to the illuminated medieval manuscripts. Here we can see 2 such works, the first depicting John Ruskin on the nature of Gothic, and the second, the Kelmscott Chaucer depicting Troilus and Cressida. In 1861, Morris established a collaborative company or firm known as Morris, Marshall and Faulkner and Company, with 6 other partners, consisting predominantly of artisans and financial backers. By 1875, Morris took control of the firm and bought out those partners in March 1875, establishing his company known as Morris and Company. Morris frequently drew inspiration for his work from the homes which he lived in, which often contains parks, gardens and proximity to the rivers and their tributaries. In the first image we see Water House in Lloyd Park in the borough of Walthamstow in Waltham Forest, which was predominantly the home of William Morris's youth. The house is currently managed by Waltham Council as the William Morris Museum, and we encourage you to visit it and support the work of the museum, details being in the description. We turn now to the Red House, which was built in 1860, a year after his marriage, to accommodate his growing family. The L-shaped house was built for the princely sum of £4,000 in the unconventional L-shaped design. The house was located in Orchard and Gardens and remained a private residence until 2003, where it was bought for the National Trust and can be currently viewed. As might be anticipated, the house interior reflects the medieval and Gothic style of Morris. The Morris family lived in a flat above the workshops in Queen Square, whilst Morris undertook much of the work at St James's Palace. In 1871, Morris sought a tenancy for a rural property so that he could move his children away from the pollution of London. The home of choice for Morris was Kelmscott Manor in the village of Kelmscott in Oxfordshire, built circa 1570. Morris spent much time around the local countryside around Kelmscott Manor, which was a source of inspiration for some of his more nature-orientated works. As a general rule, Morris's work in the early decades featured the woodblock wallpapers. In the latter decades, his work involved printing of cloth and weaving. We take all but a fleeting look at woodblock printing. Morris's wallpapers were hand-printed from wooden blocks, which had to be carved. Morris's designs are based on natural forms and patterns which were sequentially built. The work of Morris was greatly influenced from woodblock prints from herbals such as that of John Gerard, to which we have looked at in the Doctrine of Signatures. These botanical herbals often contained a rich source of illustrations which Morris could use for his own patterns and designs. Each wallpaper could take up to 4 weeks to produce, involve up to 30 different woodcut blocks and up to 15 colours which were precisely matched. Each woodblock image was precisely carved, usually from pear wood. Each woodblock would be inked, placed precisely on pins at the side of the wallpaper, printed and pressed. This process would be repeated, in some cases up to 30 times, until a final image was produced layer on layer. The finest example of a woodcut artist of the first order was Katsushika Hokusai. The most famous work of Hokusai, a Japanese artist of the Edo period, is the Great Wave of Kanagawa. So good was the work of Hokusai that it is said he carved a lifelike impression of a sparrow on a grain of rice. Morris sadly died at the age of 62 years in 1896 with ailing health, which involved epilepsy, gout, and finally tuberculosis, TB. Many of his early designs still appeared from 1900s onward from the Morris stable. Let us take a fleeting overview of Morris's woodblock wallpaper designs in chronological order. A fleeting overview of Morris's fabrics, whether they be printed, embroidered or woven. And those fabrics can be in many forms, such as chintz, linen or damask. Whilst very much against mechanisation, Morris did succumb to the advent of the jacquard loom, and many of his carpet and woven designs were in fact subcontracted. In terms of social history, what we must remember is that Britain transformed from an agrarian age to an industrial age over the course of 30 years. Morris captures the spirit of the age by naming some of his fabrics after tributaries of the River Thames, such as the Wandle and Kennet fabrics, and also of the Merton Abbey where his dye works was located. Well folks, that concludes the slightly different episode on William Morris. Once again, thank you very much indeed for watching. If you have liked or enjoyed this episode, or found it interesting or educational, please like, share and subscribe by clicking on the owl button to follow, so that we can bring you more videos in the series. In the words of Lupo, this well-dressed little fellow, treat yourself to a William Morris winter woolly this winter.